Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about the commutative and associative properties. So you should be writing this down in your notebook and following along. So I'm going to start with the commutative property. And then the associative property. So, with the commutative property, we'll start there. That tells me that you can switch the order of addition and multiplication. You probably already know this, but maybe you just didn't know it was called the commutative property. The way that I remember this is I think of my commute to and from school. So for me, it's about 27 miles that I commute every way. So whether I'm driving from my house to school, it's 27 miles, and whether I'm going from school to my house, it's 27 miles. No matter which way I go, it's the same amount. So that is A plus B is the same as B plus A. The order does not matter. Same with multiplication. A times B is the same as B times A. For the associative property, this has to do with the grouping of three or more numbers. You need at least three numbers, and the grouping of three or more numbers can change. And again, this is for addition and multiplication. And the way that I spot it when I see the associative property is typically the parentheses of something change. The parentheses change where the parentheses are, but the order of either the variables or the numbers does not. Alright, so remember the parentheses change, so that would be something like this. A plus B plus C. Now this time, the A plus B plus C are in the same order, but we're going to move the parentheses to the B and C. Same works for multiplication. A times B times C. A times B times C. Just move your parentheses. So let's do some examples here. So one reason why these properties are important is because they kind of help us make calculations easier. So if I have 2 times 8 times 5 times 7, I can rearrange it to make the math easier, because if I left it like this, 2 times 8 would be 16, 16 times 5 might take me a while to do, and then that number times 7 is going to take a while. So we can move things around to make it easier. So this time I'm going to rearrange it so that I have 2 times 5, because that's a nice number, 10, and then my times 8 times 7. So this was commutative, and commutative addition. There's commutative addition and multiplication. So I'm just going to specify addition there. Now, this was multiplication. Commutative, multiply. Now I'm going to group them. So I'm going to do the 2 times the 5 first, then I'll multiply the 8 times the 7, then I'll multiply everything together. So grouping them, remember your parentheses, that's the associative property of multiplication. Now I can just do the math a lot easier than I could before. So 2 times 5 is 10, 8 times 7 is 56, and 10 times 56 is 560. Let's do another one. We'll do addition this time. So 13 plus 23 plus 12 plus 7. We are going to move them around so that they're easier. So looking at this, my mind wants to do the 23 and the 7 together because that makes a nice number 30. You can group them in a different way if that's easier for you, but I'm going to put the 23 plus 7 first, then the 13 plus 12. And we could change the order by the commutative property of addition this time. And notice CO, commutative, you could think it stands for change order as another way to remember that. So now I'm going to group my numbers together how I want to add them up. So I'm going to do the 23 plus the 7 first, then I'll do the 13 plus the 12. Remember, parentheses grouping is the associative property of addition because we're adding. So now 23 plus 7 is 30, 13 plus 12 is 25, and I can very easily get 55 as my answer.